I looked at the operation strategy a little differently. I looked at the the strategy for bringing the cars in, what to do, reconditioning, things of that nature. So, one of the things that I found is, and again, it's interdepartmental communication, which we talked about yesterday. Most guys will turn the car over to service, and the reconditioning bill comes in, and it's a bit of a shock, and then they're pricing, and sometimes pricing out of the market, or the margin is narrow. Some of the best dealers that I've ever dealt with, they have a policy on what that litmus is for expense in the service department. So some will set 500 cap, 700 cap. And what they're doing is they're saying, take care of every safety-related item, because safety is most important to the consumers. Anything else beyond that, as long as it's mechanically sound, leave it alone. We're not going to do anything extra. We're going to get out on the lot. We're going to have a really good price with some room for movement. And then they allow the customer to dictate what happens next. Now, some people see this as favorable, some people don't, and I understand that. But if the car's clean, if the car's mechanically sound, if it passes the inspection that you set forth for your dealership, going overboard in the expense in the service department by allowing service to do it will handicap you. It will freeze assets, frozen capital, sorry. And I don't think that's what you want. You want to make sure that you're priced very effectively in the marketplace. Obviously, you want a chance to, get a decent return, right? We don't want to gouge customers. And I've seen dealerships that have preset, this is our margin. It's kind of a one price used. And I think dealerships that did that during COVID were very, very successful. They said, this is the price. We don't negotiate. Every used car is different. And I don't think you can, yes, somebody might have a 16, we talked about Honda, somebody might have a 16 Honda Civic on the next lot. Does it have the exact same kilometers? Is it the same color? Does it have the same tires and wheels? Did it have winter tires that came with? There are so many variables when you're dealing with used cars. And I think it's important to make sure that, you really adapt and adopt strategies that are going to benefit you in your marketplace. Dealerships that are more rural have a little bit, I think, in some regard, a little better opportunity to market their used cars because there's not as much competition. But I really think you need to set, from an operational standpoint, everything from, like we talked about, car comes in, it gets it clean. Pictures are taken, it's up online as quickly as possible. Then it's going to go get its reconditioning. We're going to say, here's what has to be done, here's what's recommended. Make sure that your service department has that recommended list. If the customer's concerned about everything, you can show them the recommended. It is okay to say to them, these are things that are recommended. They're not necessary at this point in time. This car is going to operate safely. It's functionally sound. It's all the things that you want. And then again, make sure your pricing is correct. And again, tell the story. Get out there and be social with it.
Yeah, you can't have those arguments in between departments. The salesperson finds out there's $200 profit in this car, and you go, yeah, well, parts gouged just on the cost of the brake pads, and then service overcharge for the installation. You have to get ahead of that and make sure that doesn't happen so that you can make money and all departments are happy.
The customer doesn't care what you put into the vehicle.
Exactly.
They just want to know, the more you put into it, the more safer they're going to feel with that vehicle as well. So I feel, in a sense, too, you're kind of shooting yourself in the foot by, this is the recommendation of what we think, because they're going to say, if you recommend it, then why haven't you done it?
Oh no, you only bring it up if it becomes a conversation. I'm not saying you open it up to them, but you need to know what might be recommended by your service department. Because again, you want, customer buys the car and then has an issue, you can look and say it was recommended, we should absorb some of this or more. I just think putting too much expense up front is prohibitive to moving and turning your inventory as quickly as I think you'd like to.